You wake up tomorrow and discover that everything you believed about electric cars was completely wrong. What if I told you that right now, as we speak, there's a $5,000 electric car selling like hotcakes in Africa that's making Silicon Valley executives lose sleep? Yeah, you heard that right. $5,000. Not $50,000. Not even $15,000. $5,000 for a fully functional electric vehicle that can drive 250 miles on a single charge. Now, before you close this video thinking it's clickbait, hang on. Because what's unfolding in Kenya right now is about to flip the entire automotive industry on its head. And the craziest part? Most people in America and Europe have absolutely no clue it's even happening. Last quarter, something unprecedented occurred. A small company from Nairobi sold more electric vehicles in emerging markets than the mighty Tesla. Let that sink in for a moment. The company that everyone thought would revolutionize transportation just got schooled by a startup operating out of Africa. And when Wall Street caught wind of these numbers, Tesla's stock took a nosedive, dropping 7% in a single day. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't some stripped-down golf cart pretending to be a car. We're talking about a legitimate four-door vehicle that seats 5 people, charges from your regular home outlet, and comes with a 10-year battery warranty. Meanwhile, the cheapest Tesla you can buy will set you back nearly $40,000. So how on earth is someone building electric cars for the price of a used Honda Civic? The company behind this automotive revolution is called Mobius Motors, and their story reads like something out of a business thriller. Picture this scene from 2010. A young entrepreneur named Joel Jackson lands in Nairobi with a wild idea. He wasn't trying to build the next Tesla. He wasn't chasing venture capital millions. He simply wanted to create affordable transportation for people who actually needed it. For 9 years, his company built basic, rugged vehicles for African roads. Nothing fancy. Just practical machines that could handle tough terrain without breaking the bank. Then something shifted in 2019. Jackson and his team had an epiphany that would change everything. They looked at the electric vehicle market and realized everyone was doing it backwards. Think about it. What do all the major car companies do? They build expensive, luxury electric vehicles loaded with features most people never use, hoping that someday, somehow, the price will come down enough for regular folks to afford them. But what if you flipped that entire equation? What if you started with affordability as your #1 priority and built up from there? This simple question led to the creation of the Mobius E1. And folks, this thing is unlike any electric vehicle you've ever seen. While other manufacturers were cramming their cars with giant touchscreens, self-driving features, and leather everything, Mobius went the opposite direction. They asked themselves what a car actually needs to do. Move people from one place to another safely and efficiently, right? Everything else is just expensive decoration. So they started cutting. No massive infotainment system. No panoramic sunroof. No heated seats with 17 adjustment positions. Just the essentials done really, really well. The result? A vehicle with only 370 main components. To put that in perspective, your typical Tesla has over 10,000 parts. That's not a typo. 10,000 versus 370. And the weight difference is mind-blowing. The E1 tips the scales at just 1,800 pounds. That's less than half of what most electric cars weigh. Now, why does this matter? Because the heavier your car, the bigger the battery you need to move it. And batteries are expensive. Really expensive. By keeping the weight down, Mobius could use a smaller, cheaper battery while still achieving that impressive 250-mile range. Let me paint you a picture of what it's actually like to own one of these vehicles. Meet James, a delivery driver in Nairobi. 6 months ago, he was spending a small fortune on gas for his old Toyota. Every week, he'd watch his hard-earned money disappear into his fuel tank. Then he switched to the E1. Now he's saving about $140 every single week. That's over $7,000 a year in his pocket instead of going to oil companies. Or take Sarah, a school teacher who was skeptical about electric vehicles. She worried about running out of charge, about complicated maintenance, about all the horror stories she'd heard. 6 months later, she charges her E1 twice a week at home using a regular wall outlet, just like charging her phone but bigger. No special equipment needed. No expensive charging station installation. Just plug it in when she gets home and it's ready to go in the morning. But here's where things get really wild. The secret sauce behind this impossibly cheap price isn't just about removing features. It's about completely reimagining how batteries work. See, while Tesla and every other manufacturer was fighting over limited lithium supplies, driving prices through the roof, Mobius asked a different question. Do we even need lithium? Turns out the answer is no. The Mobius team developed something called an iron-air matrix battery. Instead of rare, expensive materials that require massive mining operations, they use iron, aluminum, and carbon. Stuff that's literally everywhere. The environmental impact? Practically zero. No toxic waste. No massive water consumption. No child labor in cobalt mines. Just clean, simple chemistry using materials we have in abundance. Now you might be thinking this sounds too good to be true. A cheaper battery that's also better for the environment? Where's the catch? Well, there is one trade-off. These iron-air batteries aren't quite as energy-dense as lithium-ion. They're a bit heavier for the same amount of power. But remember how Mobius made the entire car super light? That weight savings more than makes up for the slightly heavier battery. It's like a perfectly balanced equation. And the durability of these batteries is absolutely insane. Independent testing at MIT showed that after simulating 200,000 miles of driving, the battery had only lost 8% of its capacity. 8%? Most electric car batteries lose that much in the first couple of years. We're talking about a battery that could potentially last longer than the car itself. But perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of Mobius isn't the car or even the battery. It's how they build them. Forget everything you know about massive car factories. You know those sprawling facilities that cost billions to build and employ thousands of robots? Mobius threw that playbook out the window. Instead of one giant factory, they operate 27 small facilities scattered across Kenya. Each one employs between 30 and 50 people from the local community. Each facility costs just $3 to $5 million to set up, compared to the billions Tesla spends on a single gigafactory. And here's the kicker. They can have a new facility up and running in 4 to 6 months. Tesla's factories take years to build. This distributed manufacturing approach isn't just cheaper. It's more resilient. If one facility has a problem, the others keep running. If demand increases in a particular region, they can quickly set up a new facility there. It's like the difference between having all your eggs in one basket versus spreading them across many baskets. The numbers behind this approach are staggering. Mobius spends about $1,200 in infrastructure for each car they produce. Tesla? Nearly $10,000 per vehicle. Labor costs? $420 for Mobius versus $2,400 for Tesla. Yet somehow, Mobius achieves a 42% profit margin, double what Tesla manages. Now let's talk about what this means for you, sitting there watching this video, probably in America or Europe. Because Mobius isn't content with dominating emerging markets. They're coming to America next year, and they're not playing by the traditional rules. Forget about car dealerships. You know, those places where you spend your entire Saturday getting hassled by salespeople and arguing about prices? Mobius is skipping them entirely. Instead, they're partnering with major retail chains to set up 200 experience centers. Think of it like the Apple Store model but for cars. You can walk in, check out the vehicle, take a test drive, and order one right there. No haggling. No hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. The American lineup will include 3 models. The basic E1 at $5,000 with a 150-mile range. Perfect for city driving and daily commutes. The E1 Plus at $7,200 with that full 250-mile range. And the E1 Utility at $8,400, designed for small business owners who need cargo space. Pre-orders are already exploding. Without spending a dime on advertising, they've already got 37,000 Americans on the waiting list. The first shipment of 10,000 vehicles is 80% spoken for, and they haven't even officially launched yet. Traditional car companies are panicking. Ford has filed regulatory challenges trying to block Mobius from entering the market. GM is lobbying Congress for stricter safety requirements specifically designed to keep Mobius out. Tesla is supposedly rushing to develop a $20,000 model, but insiders say it's too late. Their cost structure simply can't compete. You can feel the desperation in Detroit and Silicon Valley. They spent decades telling us that electric cars had to be expensive, that quality costs money, that American consumers would never accept anything less than luxury. Then along comes this company from Kenya proving that everything they told us was nonsense. Driving the E1 is surprisingly normal. That's the best word for it. It's not trying to be a spaceship. It's not trying to impress your neighbors. It's just trying to be a good, reliable car. The acceleration won't pin you to your seat, but it's perfectly adequate for merging onto highways. The interior won't win any design awards, but the seats are comfortable and everything is exactly where you expect it to be. The noise level at highway speeds is about the same as a Toyota Corolla. The handling is predictable and safe. The brakes work exactly like regular brakes because, well, they are regular brakes with regenerative capability added. There's no learning curve, no adjustment period. You get in and drive it like any other car. Maintenance is where things get interesting. Or rather, uninteresting, which is exactly what you want. No oil changes because there's no oil. No transmission fluid because there's no traditional transmission. No spark plugs, no timing belts, no exhaust systems. Just an annual battery check and tire rotations. Total yearly maintenance cost? Between $80 and $120. That's it. The reliability data is stunning. After 18 months of real-world testing, these vehicles are showing a 99.7% uptime rate. Most problems that do occur get fixed through over-the-air software updates. For hardware issues, Mobius has partnered with major auto parts chains. Mobile repair units can replace entire drivetrain components in 90 minutes. No waiting weeks for parts to ship from overseas. Now, let's be real about the limitations. This isn't a luxury vehicle. If you need your car to be a status symbol, this isn't for you. The top speed is capped at 85 miles per hour. The interior is basic. There's no autopilot, no fancy driver assistance features beyond the basics. But for the vast majority of people who just need reliable, affordable transportation, those limitations don't matter. What we're witnessing here isn't just another car company trying to grab market share. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about transportation, manufacturing, and global innovation. For a century, we've been told that advanced technology flows from rich countries to poor countries. That innovation happens in Silicon Valley, Detroit, or Tokyo, then slowly trickles down to the rest of the world. Mobius is proving that backward thinking wrong. The implications go way beyond cars. If iron air batteries can power vehicles, they can power homes. If distributed manufacturing works for cars, it can work for everything from appliances to electronics. If a company from Kenya can outmaneuver Tesla, what other assumptions about global business are we getting wrong? This is bigger than just saving money on transportation. It's about accessibility, sustainability, and breaking the monopoly that wealthy nations have held on advanced technology. When billions of people in India, Southeast Asia, Africa, and Latin America can suddenly afford electric vehicles, the environmental impact will dwarf anything happening in California or Norway. We're standing at a crossroads. The old model of expensive, overcomplicated technology for the wealthy few is dying. The new model of simple, affordable, good enough technology for everyone is being born. And it's not coming from where anyone expected. The traditional automakers want you to believe this is a threat to quality, to safety, to the American way of doing business. But what's really threatened is their ability to overcharge you for features you don't need. What's threatened is the cozy relationship between car companies and dealers that adds thousands to the price of every vehicle. What's threatened is the assumption that good enough isn't good enough. Here's my prediction, and mark my words on this. Within 5 years, every major automaker will have a sub-$10,000 electric vehicle in their lineup. Not because they want to, but because they'll have no choice. Mobius has shown the world what's possible when you prioritize accessibility over luxury, simplicity over complexity, and people over profits. For decades, We've been waiting for electric vehicles to become affordable enough for regular people. We've been told to be patient, that prices would come down eventually, that the technology needed time to mature. Turns out we were waiting for the wrong thing. We weren't waiting for technology to get cheaper. We were waiting for someone to realize that the technology was already cheap enough, if you stopped adding unnecessary expensive junk to it. So here's what you need to understand. The $5,000 electric car isn't coming. It's already here. It's already outselling Tesla in multiple markets. It's already forcing the entire industry to reconsider everything they thought they knew about building cars. And next year, it'll be available in America. The question isn't whether this will disrupt the auto industry. That disruption is already happening. The question is whether you'll be an early adopter who saves thousands of dollars, or whether you'll stick with the old, expensive way of doing things while watching your neighbors drive past in their affordable electric vehicles. Look, I know this sounds almost too good to be true. A reliable electric car for $5,000? Built by a company most of us have never heard of? From Kenya of all places? But sometimes the biggest changes come from the most unexpected directions. Sometimes the future isn't designed in a gleaming Silicon Valley office. Sometimes it's built in a small factory in Nairobi by people who understood something the experts missed, that most of us don't need a rolling computer. We just need a good, affordable car that happens to be electric. If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening in the electric vehicle world, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Share this with someone who's been thinking about going electric but couldn't justify the cost. Because the more people who know about this revolution, the faster it'll force all manufacturers to stop overcharging us for basic transportation. The future of driving isn't just electric, it's affordable. And that changes everything.